Viterbo is part or the capital of Tuscia, this little land hidden between Rome and Tuscany. And for many decades, it was just the land where people in Italy would go to do a military service, something like a month. And then that thing was over. And all of a sudden, we get some tourists. As I said in the theme song at the beginning, someone noticed. Now, tonight I have a special guest. His name is Bert. And he noticed, and I will definitely ask him how and when he noticed. Let me introduce to you guys Bert Keeter. Bert, good evening. How are you?
Buonasera. Very well, grazie.
Where are you right now, Bert?
I'm in my home in Tuscania, Centro Storico.
So Centro Storico means historical center, which is where I want to stay when I come to Italy. And of course, you are an American, you want to stay, right? We will talk much more about it, but just let me ask you, why Centro Storico?
I've found a beautiful little home here, and it suits my character. I have a small dog, which I like to take out for walks. Here he is, Joe, who's Italian, and and it's just very charming and very, very quiet and calm, but very, very lovely place to live.
I promise I don't want to say too much, but most of my international friends in Italy tell me that they rather not see much of a success in the touristic direction because they like the quiet, the originality. Is that true?
Well, like I said, I live here, and I was living before in Grotti di Castro, which is another beautiful town. Tuscany is bigger than that by 3 times, I think. So for me, it's a bigger city. But I visit my friends up in Florence, and I'm excited to be there. But once I'm there, maybe 2 or 3 hours, it's like, okay, can I go back to Tuscany now, to Tuscia? Because it's natural, it's beautiful, it's clean. There's no, it's very, very authentic to me. As I'm American, I say this: when I come here, I feel more in Italy than I do when I go to Florence, which is a beautiful city. It's an amusement park now. It's not like it was 25 years ago. It's very hard to find Italy inside Florence, where, and again, Tuscania is lovely, just like Grotti was. The people are nice, they're friendly, they're welcoming, they're helpful. They just always say buongiorno, Bert, caro Bert. In America, they don't do that. So I love it.
I promise we'll talk more a little later. So let me get you on the memory line. So who is Bert Keeter?
He's 69 years old and was born in Washington, D.C. My mother was from England and my father was American, raised in America. Went to school in New York in the mid-'70s, which was fantastic, to fashion design school at Parsons. Graduated, went to work in LA, went to work in New York, bounced. In America, people move a lot. They don't do that so much in Italy, but I moved all over the place for like many years. But anyway, I worked in New York, and about 10 years ago, I decided I wanted to have a small home in Italy. So I started looking, and I was very lucky to find, Tuscia.
Okay. Again, I'm going to talk about it a little more in a bit, but let me ask you, where in Los Angeles? I am from Los Angeles, right? Where are you?
Oh, I lived in a couple of places. West Hollywood, Hancock Park. Also lived in Laguna Beach in the 70s. It was fantastic. And yeah, that's it.
Well, I am, of course, biased, but I love my life in Los Angeles. I like the one in Italy better, but I love that one as well.
So the price in Italy is better too for the wine.
Every time I convince my wife and daughter to spend some significant time in Italy, then we go back and we find a little pile of money in the bank.
Yeah.
Okay, so you bounce around a lot. Why? What do you do? What is your job, your profession?
Oh, I think I'm a fashion designer, women's fashion designer, and so in America, main cities are New York City and then Los Angeles for fashion design. And I was young. I loved California because of the life and then was fantastic there. But I also like New York City because it's Manhattan, New York. I've always lived in Manhattan. I was sort of torn between the beach and the sun and the life of New York City. So I bounced around a bit, more than most people do.
So was it a fun time in your life, or was it the most important professional life? Like, what was the deal?
It was always fun and professional. I'm not a very much, I shouldn't say this. I focus on my where my heart takes me and not where the mind or the money takes me. So I always like moving to Italy. It's like not many people at my age decide, oh, I'm going to move to Italy. I sort of do things instant and randomly, and, spontaneously. I'm sorry.
That sounds fantastic. That sounds like you know how to live. Okay.
Yeah.
Can I show you one picture from your past?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, can I? Because in order to have this, how do I say, interview, I guess,
Yeah.
I searched for you online, and
Yeah.
of course, I found this one, which is a very important picture, I assume, of your life. Oh, I'm having some problem here.
Yeah.
So,
I was on a television show in America called Project Runway. It was season 9, which is 12, 13 years ago now. And that photo with me holding the microphone is me introducing my collection at New York City Fashion Week for the finale of Project Runway.
well, I don't know how much the Italians know about it, but Project Runway is huge in America. You're minimizing it.
No, it was an exciting experience. It was very exhausting and very scary at times, but I enjoyed it very much. And it was a good experience.
So, would you say that that's the peak of your profession?
Oh no, that was not. I don't know if I've had a peak, but I did that as a joke, as a something just to. It'd be fun to be on a reality TV show. No, it was, but I did well on it. But I'm the oldest person ever to be on that show as a contestant. So they just about killed me. I think I was. I'm like I said. I'm almost. I mean, I'm 69 now. I think I was 57 when I was on that show. And you work 24 hours a day. They don't stop. They keep you there all day, all night, all morning. Practically, it's like slave labor. So anyway,
I told my wife about it, and she remembers you.
Yeah,
She loves the show. She
yeah.
loves the show.
No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting Heidi Klum very much. She's fun. She's so beautiful. But also Nina Garcia, who's one of the judges. Michael Kors, I knew way, way long time ago, and he's a funny man, very, very witty. So it was a good experience.
Okay, so let's jump forward.
Mm-hmm.
So you specialize a little bit, can we say, in the fashion industry?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So what is it?
Oh, women's evening wear.
So high elegance, high level quality of this.
Mostly I've worked in out in designer, which is the top of pret-a-porter, and then alta moda, which is haute couture. Done both of those in the United States.
I might be wrong because I'm not an expert, but it looks like you have a particular sensitivity about curves, about contrast. Like your dresses look fabulous, but you use some kind of shape. Am I wrong?
My clothes are, at least what you've probably seen, are very natural construction. Excuse me. I don't do a lot of, my clothes are simple, meaning that I use very nice, I like to use quality fabric, simple line, not a lot of extraneous things. I don't do crazy, outrageous things to scream, look at me, look at me, look at me. My clients don't want that. They want to be chic and understated and elegant and comfortable. They want to be able to walk up the stairs without an army of men holding them up to keep their dress from falling off. So
very, very elegant.
yeah, sleek, understated, modern style, I think, for me. I mean, this is the 21st century. I don't think women should be wearing these contraptions like they're birds in a cage. You know, they should be modern and contemporary. It's still beautiful and feminine, but you know, I remember once in LA, I was at a very big party, the Golden Globes, and it was very crowded at the dinner afterwards. And this woman was trying to get by, and I recognized who she was. She was married to a very important TV producer, and she had on this dress, this fitted dress, and this huge, huge skirt. And she's like lifting it up and trying to squeeze through the tables. And I looked at her and I said, I bet you're going to kill your stylists when you get home tonight. She said, you better believe I am. Because it's like, you know, this isn't the dress you wear to a gala where there's 300 people sitting down for dinner. You know, it's just silly. So it's not, red carpet and fashion aren't the same.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, Bert, let's jump forward again. At some point in your life, you decide America gave you enough. It was time to look for something else. What happened?
Okay, I first came to Italy I think it was 1978. I was flying from Paris to Milano, and the plane had to land in Rome. So because of the weather in Milan was bad, so I spent one night in Rome with my boss, the person I was working for at the time, and I fell in love instantly with Italy. Rome, and then from Rome we went to Florence. We took the train from Rome to Florence, and then stayed 3 or 4 days in Florence. And then we went to Milano, and I just fell in love with Italy. And then after that, in the 80s, I'd come over for work like 2 or 3 times a year in Milan and Como and Prato, Biella, and I would see different. And I said, one day I want to live here. So, and then a few years ago, after being on Project Runway and doing some things, I got the opportunity to come here for work, and that's when I decided to look for a small place to live. And I did my research before I came. You know, I was still living in Los Angeles, so I thought, if I have to come from LA to Italy, what's the best way? I don't want to go through Frankfurt or London. I want to go direct, so Rome. And I thought, okay, what's around Rome? So I looked between Rome and Florence. It's like Lazio. And then I found Tuscia and Lago di Bolsena, and that's how I found this area to live in.
That sounds very good to me, and I want, in honest to get a reaction from you. Would you recommend Tuscia to anybody else?
I do it all the time. Yeah. Especially the Bolsena area, not the town of Bolsena, but all of that area from yeah, it's just beautiful. Yeah, I love it, and it's very particular. You know, you've got the sea, you've got the lake, you've got beautiful agricultural, just beautiful towns, and it's not. It has just an edge of tourism, but not. It doesn't take away from the experience. You know, I go into my cafe here in the morning, and it's on Buongiorno Caro Bert. I mean, they know my name. It's like in America that would never happen. You know, so in America they write your name on the side of the coffee cup.
That's right. You told me before that when Americans think of true, authentic Italy, they do not think of Florence. They think of places like Tuscany.
Mm-hmm. My first search, I started in Terni because I realized that's the center of Italy, right? Is it Terni or Todi? Terni, see? Terni. And that's where I started. And then I saw this lake, Lago di Bolsena, and I thought, so I actually made an appointment on the telephone with the real estate agent and drove there the next day from Terni. And I didn't have the cell phone. I didn't have Google Maps. It just took me forever to figure out where the hell is Grotte di Castro. And I finally found it. And I remember coming up turning the road and wiggles through, and all of a sudden you see in the middle of the mountain or the hillsides is Grotti di Castro up there, and I in my car and I went, it was like a shock. It was like a scene out of a movie. It was like so beautiful. And my apartment that I bought actually was on the wall, the muro, that literally right on the wall. You could see all of Lago di Bolsena and Montefiascone and just the sheep in the valley below. No traffic. So that was
fantastic potato. Fantastic potato.
Yeah. And very, very nice people too. I was very lucky there. I met a wonderful friend at the Comune and another couple of friends that were really helpful when I moved there. And you know, just like they're my friends now, family. So you know, we're very close friends now. So I drive. I go to the. Sorry. No, so I still go there for reasons. And I'll drive my car through the town, and people literally will wave at me when I drive through the small town, and they recognize me, you know, the American Bert. So it's nice.
Okay, let me show you something, some places around you, and let's see if you recognize them. Okay. So this one is rather easy. Do you know this place?
Yes, Bagnoregio.
Civita di Bagnoregio, the Dying City, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you like it?
It's a beautiful area. It's I actually I've gone myself over there myself, across the bridge in the area. I think it's very interesting to see it from around, the way the Earth is so different right there. It looks like it's from the moon or another planet.
That's right.
Yeah, and then Bagnoregio, besides the part out in the middle, the town around it's very beautiful and very nice. Yeah.
Okay, this one is an inside place. Do you know this one?
No.
So we call it the Mappamondo room. Is a room in Palazzo Farnese in Caprarola.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Have you been there?
I have not been inside it. I've just been outside. Yeah.
You have to go, my friend. Yeah. You have to go. I don't know if it is $5 or $7, something like that. I can tell you is the best $7 you ever spent in your life. Absolutely fantastic. And possibly worth getting a guide. It's really fantastic. Really, eh? Okay, this one is very close to me. Let's see if you recognize it.
That is in Viterbo, I think, no?
Correct.
Centro Storico.
That's Centro Storico San Pellegrino. That's right. Okay, this last one that I'm going to show you is very, very hard. I don't know.
2 out of 3, right?
You're pretty good. You're pretty good. Okay, let's see this one. This is very hard. That is hard.
I don't know.
Okay.
So, is this your terrace at your house?
No. Okay, so I kind of picked that for a reason. No? So there are so many small places. I believe 1,277 people only live in that place. It's called Bassano in Teverina, and it's gorgeous, but there are many gorgeous places around us. And not even people from here know of them.
Exactly, yeah. A little town I like near Bagnoregio is Cileno.
Oh, yes, El Borgo Fantasma di Celleno.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I was there last week, too. I was driving back from somewhere, and instead of taking the main road, I see, okay, this is 45 kilometers longer, but let's take this road instead. And that's how I find it. That's how I find all these places. I go all over the place. You know, I don't know where I am half the time.
Have you been to Torre Alfina?
See.
How is it?
Lovely, beautiful. Yeah, over there. Yeah, and Acqua Pendente is beautiful. San Lorenzo Nuovo for the cafe and the piazza.
Oh yeah.
Bolsena, Lago di Bolsena is beautiful.
The reason why I mentioned
when I bought my apartment in Grotti, I stayed 3 nights inside the Visconti, Hotel Visconti, Palazzo Visconti in Bolsena. You know, an American coming to Italy, you don't. How many people get to stay in a Renaissance palace? You know, it's like not. You know, for an American, it was an amazing experience. You know.
I was saying, I mentioned Torre Alfina because it's a castle and it's lovely and all that, but I have been there only once recently because I'm trying to promote the land, right? Otherwise, I would never have gone.
No,
And,
it's
and,
lovely.
and that's funny, stupid, right?
Yeah.
Well,
So,
well,
and Lago di Bolsena is just my nobody knows about Lago di Bolsena in Italy. It's like it's this one, more Norwegians and Scandinavians and Dutch and Germans know about Bolsena than
correct,
Italians, I think.
correct, correct.
It's okay. It keeps it quiet.
I guess so. Okay. I was stalking you a little bit online, and I saw this old post from some years ago where you posted a picture of you coming back to Tuscania from somewhere. And I guess, maybe a mile away, you took this picture and you said something like, I have to stop, I have to take a picture to remember how I feel when I come back to Tuscania. How do you feel when you go back to Tuscania?
Hmm. It's like how did I guess I'm still amazed that I'm living here. I was very lucky to get my residency the way I got it. So the fact that this is really where I'm living. It's not a vacation. I'm not a tourist. And this is my home. It's sometimes a big shock. It's a good shock, and I'm very grateful to. I went back to America last year for 4 months. I thought I'd go back to Washington D.C. and live there for a few, maybe stay there for a couple of years and come back to Italy. I think I was a little burned out after COVID, and I was there for 3 months, and I thought, I'm not staying here. I want to go back to Italy where I can live and enjoy every moment. It's not about making $1 million and then coming back to Italy. It's about, we don't know when we're not going to be here anymore. So I don't want to waste my time in America. So
yeah. That sounds fantastic to me. I am really trying to let as many people possible, but I like the way you did it. You moved out here and you stay. I don't like the tourists that come and go. That I don't think they can appreciate the quality of life.
Oh, I agree. And I have a relative, a nephew of mine, who wants to. He's getting his Italian citizenship, and he and his wife, they have a daughter, and he's very, 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 very wealthy, and they want to move here. But they don't understand the life in Italy. It's a real. You have to change the way you think, the way you act, what you expect. You can't come here and live as an American. I mean, so you have to be quiet, calm, and patient, and let people be nice to you, and you have to be nice to people. And because in America, that doesn't really happen anymore. People are so isolated and afraid of everybody. So I love it. I posted videos before of these fairs in my town in Tuscania, where the children are running around free with holding onto their friends' hands, and their parents are talking and walking behind them without any fear. And it's just beautiful. It's not even the fear, it's just the way they're so close. These are their friends for their entire life. Where in America, I think before I went to high school in America, before I entered junior high school, my parents had moved 7, 8, 10 times. It's not easy to have friends when you're moving all the time. That's, I think, why I still move so much, is because I was always moving. But here in Italy, you're born, and most people live in the town they're born in till they finish, and you see the connection here. It's just beautiful, and that doesn't exist in America. Young people I meet here in the bars and the cafes, they say, "Oh, you're from America," and their eyes light up like. 40 years ago, for Europeans moving to America, it was a fantastic place to go. But now I think it's not what it used to be. To go there is to start a new life, a young person, unless you have everything figured out, because it's not. it's not what it used to be. So, but I love what I see in Italy. Every day, every time I see it, it's like makes my heart jump, you know.
So, Bert, I have a question. It's a little provocative, but not very much. Okay, just a little. So, was it hard for you to let them be nice and to be nice yourself?
I noticed it, you know, like when someone says "Caro Bert" in a coffee shop, the barista, excuse me, you wouldn't have that word which means dear, Bert. You wouldn't say that in America to a man. No, we would say, "Dear Bert, here's your coffee." They look at you like, you know, but there's this intimacy that here that's not hasn't got. It's just a very natural way, and it's just beautiful, you know. And I see it with other people at the bar, at the cafe, the way they come in, they all greet each other, they all know each other, you know. And you see it's like a little play in the morning, everyone getting their coffee, but and as opposed to going into a Starbucks and spending $5 for a cup of terrible coffee with your name written on the side of it, and then they want you to give them a tip on top of that, $5. And you know what it's like, you know, in Santa Monica.
That's true. Okay, so let me ask you the opposite question. What was the thing that you can really not get used to in Italy?
Nothing really bad. I think that the Italian, I don't want to be critical, but especially we're talking about Viterbo. Viterbo is a beautiful city, the centro storico, but the areas around it are just they're. I find Italian infrastructure of their cities, it's dangerous almost. Gets to the point where you take your life in your hands to drive through these streets and, you know, walk down, because it's just such. It's like nobody knows what they're doing. But other than that, everything's fantastic.
You know,
I think the infrastructure, you know, there'll be like I'm taking the right road to Rome, and you know the roads are broken and everything, but they have 20 machines cutting the grass. But meanwhile, there are holes in the road. It's like the grass is cut, but meanwhile the roads are broken. That was this morning, you know, on the highway. So it's like, but other than that, you know, the good thing in Italy is when I'm driving and I have an issue with somebody or in the street, you don't have to worry about them pulling out a gun and shooting you like here in America. Forget about it. It's really crazy.
so let me ask you another thing. What is the dish that you want the most when you come back to Italy? What is the first thing you eat when you come?
I love Italian bread. Pane. You know, I'm just learning to appreciate the simple flat bread with the oil and the salt on it, and I eat it. It's like, and the gelato. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a fantastic gelato. The two in Tuscania, one in the Centro Storico and one just outside Falaroni outside, which is fantastic. They're both good, and yeah, you can't get that in America.
One of the trip I did with my wife and daughter a little while ago, we ended up having gelato 3 times a day instead of lunch and dinner, and I don't know when, somewhere else. It started like, you know, my daughter wanted strawberry, and then we would just get some, and then another one, and another one, and 3 times a day. It was fantastic.
I have no problem with that. Yeah.
Okay, tell me the opposite. Which one is the dish you want the most when you go back to America?
Popeye's fried chicken.
Is that right?
I start thinking about it before the plane takes off to go back to America.
Fried chicken. That's cool. That's
it's
very
the best junk food in the world. I mean, the best fried chicken in the world, I think.
Okay, my friend. I had you for 15, 20 minutes, and it's so pleasant to chat with you. We went over half an hour already. So I know normally you are asleep, so I'm going to let you go. It has been much more than I expected, but it's so much fun to talk to you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for asking me. And I look forward to seeing you face to face. What's the next event for Tuscia?
The next event is going to be on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of June. So this weekend is going to be something called the Route of the Artists, the Via degli Artisti. That is a big container where there is a bunch of different kind of arts. You can find everything surprising every corner.
Where would that be?
In Viterbo, Centro Storico, in Palazzo Papale, actually.
Okay, fantastic.
So
Okay.
hopefully you can come.
I'll try it. Okay.
Okay, Bert. It is fantastic. Thank you so very much.
My pleasure. Grazie. Ciao.
Bye. Regista, com'è andata oggi?
Bene, benissimo, come sempre. Ci vediamo alla prossima, Giulio.
Dalla Tuscia